something. Please, can you help us?
Okay.
Yeah?
No problem. I'm the big driver.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Bei einer Privatbank, Limburg & Co. Wir wissen, dass in dem kleinen Tresor 50.000 Euro liegen. Und die will ich haben.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Lucky Dog Podcast. This is your host, Elias. We are here today reviewing the one-take wonder Victoria 2015, directed by Sebastian Schipper. I'm sure I said that wrong, and I pride myself on saying most things wrong. Please tell me how to say it and correct me at LuckyDogPodcast on Twitter, or look us up on YouTube, Overcast, TuneIn at TheLuckyDogPodcast. So, Victoria had many interesting things about it. One, that I had no idea that this was even possible, that a movie could be taken all in one shot. I'm pretty sure only a handful of movies I can think of off the top of my head that are pretty close to it, which would be movies like Birdman. I believe it actually came out pretty close to the same year. It might have been 2014, but Birdman didn't have all one take. They were several takes mashed together, but still very well done and extremely difficult to do from a production standpoint. So first impressions, finishing up Victoria, I was like, holy shit, man, I can't believe I just went on that ride. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it on Netflix. It's still available on the February 26th on 2018 in America. I'm not sure about the other countries that are listening, so you might have to check your local listing. But Victoria was really, really interesting and fascinating, but not from the get-go. I'd say the first hour is really difficult to kind of grasp a hold, and it kind of sogs a little bit. Just the format of it is a one take. I call it a one take wonder, but the first half could use some editing in a sorts. Now, you gotta give it to the cameraman and what he did. He had to bust his tail. I heard that he had to do some crazy stuff to achieve this, and just the team as a whole probably had to act as a full unit, as everyone is one, because this was seriously by the numbers, and everyone brought the fire. I think that's the line these days. If you're bringing the fire, you're bringing the flame, you're bringing the heat, you're bringing it, and everyone brought it. I thought that majority of the people were pretty believable. Victoria, played by, oh goodness, these are gonna be names I am not gonna be accustomed to, so bear with me. Victoria is played by Leia Costa. So we're gonna call her Leia Costa, or Victoria. We'll go with Victoria. And the guy that played the main guy was Frederick Lau. And wow, they were really believable as kind of a couple, I guess, that came together and fell in love, or not exactly fell in love, but fell into a crazy scenario in about 2.5 hours or something like that. And so that's what this movie's about. It's just following a young Spanish woman who has recently moved to Berlin and finds like a flirtation with the local guy, and it turns deadly as the night turns out with his friends reveals much more to be a pretty dangerous secret night of events. And so it was the entire thing is a ride. By now you've already listened to it, or not listened to it, you've already seen it and everything, so you should know. The good things about it were, one, I really thought it was most of it was believable. well, we won't go from believable. We'll talk about realistic. I thought that most of it was realistic, with the exception of some of the baby stuff at the end. The baby plot line. I didn't know about that. I don't know if I would have believed if she would have gone with him in the first place. I didn't know enough about her to really navigate that, but I thought that was a little bit far-fetched. That was probably the furthest thing to believe. Just the fact that she would go along with the guys that she had no idea, and she was like, yeah, sure, I'll rob a bank, I'll go do this, do that. There's several times I thought she had the opportunity to jump out of this, and she just chose not to. So but I thought that the way they played the characters was important, and it worked. The writing was pretty good, and nothing too special. I thought it gave the characters what they needed to say at the moment they needed to say it, just to give them character and personality and stuff like that. And it gave them agency. Most of the people you sort of cared for by a certain point, except for, I'd say, the main two. They kind of I would say they become irredeemable toward the end. I was like, whoa. This is intense for a German film. I mean, I've never seen too many German films, but it was pretty intense. So the bad things, I'd say the way they played the characters was really well, but the believability about some of the things, whether she would go with it, I don't think she would have gone with it. I thought she was trying to play it safe, but she was just having a need for speed. She wanted to do some crazy shit. So I guess you could just count her in. She's just down for whatever, and so she was doing some crazy stuff. Now, I do remember, it's been a while since I've seen this movie, and I just am now catching up. The part after they commit the crime, they continuously are going back to the same club they couldn't get in, and they're stripping down butt naked, acting like fools, where they left their car a block away. I thought that was ridiculous. If you're gonna go do all this stuff, you better run your butt off, because they're coming after you. I don't understand why, where their thinking was on any of their parts to go do something crazy and then think that they got away with it that easy. I thought that was ridiculous. Just flat out unacceptable. Almost lazy writing. I think they just needed them to stay within vicinity or something like that, so that the cops found them. I don't know. But that lasted a little bit too long for me. And I guess could have been a little tightened up. Maybe I would have liked it if the cops came into the nightclub. That would have been nice, instead of them having a whole little sesh in there. The nightclub scenes were really cool and well shot. They felt extended, I guess. I don't know. Since it's a one take, it's kind of really hard to define it in different scenes, I guess, but I guess it's just different moments. The cafe scene at the beginning, or at the very beginning is the club scene. Then they move to the cafe. Then they move to the rooftop, and then so on and so forth. They get into the crime and stuff, but it really does feel like a one cohesive take, I guess, if that makes sense. I'm trying to remember I felt like the sound and the music was pretty on point. I felt like if I was in a theater, I'd really enjoy it. The immersive feeling that it brought. Let me get a little bit. Quench my thirst. So, I think they might have had a bit trouble ending it. They didn't really know where to end it, so they just kind of kept on writing and writing and writing. And I guess it's do with it what you will. I don't have anyone to bounce my opinions off today with. Kelly did not watch it, so she didn't have opinions on it. So I guess the elephant in the room is the final the final take. Did you enjoy the last take? My personal take on the last scene, on the very last closing shot of her, yeah, I thought it worked. Is she screwed? Yeah, probably. I don't know how she's not in trouble already, doing the crazy stuff from snagging the lady's baby. I thought that was so irredeemable. I was not okay with that. And I was just like, I'm going to take your baby and it's going to be okay. It's like, what? No. Don't do that. And they did it anyway. So I was like, alright, so this character is clearly irredeemable, but they didn't want to show her getting captured at the end. So my take is she got captured at the end because she didn't play it smart the entire night. I mean, hanging out with these guys is just not smart. Just not smart at all. So I enjoyed the movie. I would change a few things about it. Just, it really needs to be shortened. If it's going to be a one take, it's, I don't know if 2.5 hours is too long or way too long, because I had to watch this in several takes, honestly. So it took me 2 times to get through this, and the first time I was like, where is this going? It felt very wondrous. And so after watching it the full time, I understand where it goes, and it really has a good direction. But in admiring it for one take, that's crazy. That's just insane how they would do that. I would really like to see the behind the scenes on this. I did hear it took like 2 or 3 times to complete the movie, and they shot the entire thing 2 or 3 times, and they were like, I don't know if we can do this, I don't know if we can do it, I don't know. So they did it one more time, and they nailed it. It is interesting to go back and check a few things, because it like, some of it looks authentic. Like there's a part where he drops a cigarette when they're in an alleyway, and I'm pretty sure he didn't mean to drop the cigarette, but since they were all in one take, they were like, we gotta do it, we can't fuck up. And there was another running gag where there was the locked door, one of the doors kept locking on the minivan or something like that, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't supposed to happen, but no one on the set could just jump in and unlock it, or they couldn't turn off the camera and do it, so the actors actually had to unlock it themselves. And there's just a few small things that look like it might have gone wrong that weren't supposed to, that kind of make it feel a little bit more authentic to the story. Just tiny things like that, and it was just really interesting. I'd be curious if that was actually small things like that were written into the script originally. But other than that, I like to talk about the titles and credits if they're good. I don't recall anything too special about them. I did really enjoy the lady that played Victoria. Sony was good. Sony reminded me of Tom Hardy, like a Tom Hardy cousin or something like that. I don't know. He kind of reminded me of him. I don't know if Tom Hardy is. I don't think he's German or anything like that, but definitely gave off that kind of vibe. But I really enjoyed the acting as far as it went. I mean, they all did pretty great. Sonny really brought it at the end. I thought, I really felt like this guy was going. I was like, can someone help this guy? This guy might actually be dying. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. And I was just thinking about how difficult that must have been, shooting, having like blood packets like already in their jackets when they're shot and everything. And it's just crazy to think about that they had to do all these action scenes all within one take. So it was just incredible to think about. That alone might be worth just checking out the movie, because I think that's what really sells it. The director made a cut where they, I guess, edited a few scenes, and it's not cut all in one take, and it's edited. So they did it, and they said it just doesn't work as well. And trying to think about it, looking back, it probably doesn't work as well. But maybe if they did like 2 or 3, I don't know, just small cuts here and there, and just made it a several long take of a movie, I don't think people would notice the difference any different than it would probably save time on it. So maybe find the middle or something like that. Maybe one take's not perfect, but maybe several small takes is very noteworthy, because I mean, heck, long takes are difficult to do. I know, I'm in the business. I'm in the more commercial side of the business, so it's a little bit different. But still, one takes are extremely difficult, and I applaud everyone that's on the crew and on the set that helped with all of this production. But I hope this helps anyone that is interested in the Victoria movie to possibly check it out. And if you haven't already checked it out, you probably got a little spoiled. Sorry about that, but definitely going to have that in the title. Let's see, more movies that we have. We just dropped the, what's it called, 50 Shades Freed podcast. We just dropped the Game Night podcast. We just dropped the Annihilation podcast. Wow, that was an incredible movie in the theater. I would really recommend it, and I know it's going on Netflix at some point. I'm not sure when. Still, if you get the chance, check it in the theater. It is a rumble, and it's a ride. Also, we had a Black Panther character breakdown. I saw Black Panther, but there's a bunch of spoiler discussions and different types of things like that. I did a quick rundown of the spoilers of the characters. Quick rundown of the characters, just how they did, what I thought about it, my impressions. Did you like it? Please let me know. Let me know at LuckyDogPodcast on Twitter, YouTube. We have the entire library, mostly new movies that have come out in 2018. This is a relatively newer podcast, so we're trying to get things that have just finished up in 2017 and rolling into 2018. So we'll see where this goes, and hopefully we can build much more of a fan base with much more interactiveness with the show and the channel and the podcast. And we'd love to have people on and discuss with us, just talk about what their thoughts were with the movies or anything. Let me know. So thanks guys for listening. Hope you liked it.
I did a bad thing. Bye. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
I'm gonna take the baby because we need your help.
Done.